The full licence test is about making sure that you've maintained the driving skills you needed to pass the restricted test, and that you haven't picked up any bad habits in the meantime. It's also about checking that you're considerate of the other people on the road.
The full licence test is actually shorter than the restricted test, 30 minutes all up, and you'll be marked on pretty much the same things. You're allowed to make one critical error during your full licence test. If you make a second, you fail the test. You can find out more about critical errors and immediate fail errors in our other videos.
Just like in the restricted test, the testing officer will ask you to perform certain manoeuvres, such as turning right at a roundabout and changing lanes. And they'll be looking at how well you do things like signalling, selecting safe gaps in the traffic, and looking out for other road users. The main difference is that at various times during the full licence test, the testing officer will also prompt you to identify out loud any hazards you see and say what you're doing about them. At the next street, turn right and tell me about the hazards that you see and what you're doing about them from now.
Well, there are pedestrians crossing the street and I'm just keeping my eye on them.
In a few simple words, you will need to say what each hazard is.
I can see a pedestrian up ahead on the left and I'm keeping my eye on him as well.
Thank you. Where the hazard is in relation to you and what you are doing about it. You'll need to comment on any hazards ahead, to the sides or behind you. And you'll need to do this while you're driving.
The official definition of a hazard for the test is anything that is moving, or which might move, and poses a clear and direct threat to you in carrying out the driving manoeuvre. In other words, a hazard is something you could realistically collide with while you're driving. Hazards include pedestrians, other motor vehicles, and other road users, such as cyclists.
At the end of this street, turn right and tell me about the hazards that you see and what you're doing about them from now on.
Oncoming vehicle, and I'm staying to the left. Pedestrians up ahead, keeping my eye on them. There's a car behind me, I'm also keeping my eye on them. Pedestrian ahead, who I'm giving way to. Oncoming vehicles, so I'm staying left. Vehicles coming from my left and I'm giving way to them.
The point of all this is to find out how well you are scanning the environment around you, assess whether you're making good decisions about what you're seeing, and to check that you can do these things while maintaining a high standard of driving.
Even experienced drivers can find it difficult to describe hazards out loud while driving. To prepare for the test, it's a good idea to get one of the people who has coached you to come out for a drive so you can practice describing hazards and what you're doing about them.
Anthony, so I can go.
And did you notice that? Great.
Pedestrian on my left.
Excellent. Also being aware of these cars that need to give way to you.
Okay.
If you find it hard to do this while driving at first, get them to do the driving while you practice describing hazards from the passenger seat.
And on the right.
And on the right.
Driving is a mindful activity. Even though most of your car control skills should have become automatic, you need to concentrate on your driving in order to drive well. You also need to be understanding to be a good driver. Remember that we all make mistakes at some time or another, and driving is no different. Be prepared for other drivers to make mistakes, and if they do, forgive them and move on.
Good. That's really good because you were aware that there was a potential hazard there.
You can get more detail about the test content from the full licence test guide on the Transport Agency website. It's a really good idea to get a professional driving instructor to take you for a tidy-up lesson before you sit the full licence test. They can help you identify anything you need to work on before you sit the test.